Thank you very much. I think my journey started with the rejection, actually. My father was a nurse, and he was a nurse in a rural area. He was actually the only nurse probably in around 500 kilometers radius. And I wanted to be like him because that's what he was doing. I mean, everybody liked him. He was helping people. And I say, I want to be a doctor. I definitely want to be a doctor. But when I did my exams to university, I failed. I was rejected. I mean, I needed to go to the second option, and the second option was doing forestry. And I was a little bit, I was not happy. I was like, what, dealing with trees? I have a lot of trees. I've been living with trees. I mean, what am I going to learn living with trees? But actually that opened me the road to, yes, dealing with trees, but also opened me the opportunity to work as a coordinator of a forest research session, which was a government institution that had no money at all, and I was there. From that exercise, from that experience, I ended up also working as an outreach officer for Community Land Initiative. And that's where my connection to people started. As outreach, I mean, I had my mentality of dealing with trees, it's just amazing. You talk to them, you understand them, but then dealing with people was something else. And that's where I started to understand if I really want to keep those trees alive, you really need to engage with people. And that way I started to understand about what was the impact of securing community land rights to conservation. And that was the best job, honestly, I ever had because I was constantly listening to rural communities, listening to community leaders, and discussing options. But then after that, for some reason, I think my boss saw a potential. I don't know what he saw in me. And then he put me in a position as a knowledge manager. And I was like, what is this thing? I mean, what is it to be a knowledge manager? And I was a little bit angry because I reduced my interaction with communities. But then reducing the interaction with communities means that I also needed to deal with colleagues that were interacted to that. But what I also understand is through all this process, nobody taught me how to be a coordinator, how to be an outreach, how to be a knowledge manager. And I think I only understand what it is to mean and deal with people and lead people when I did the training on ACLN. I think that was my first official training on leadership. And I understand that no, this is more complicated than I thought. So we started the journey because we understand we had the information of more communities in Mozambique than any other institution. So we could know with this institution. Actually, we knew what was the struggles of this institution. And we realized that mainly because the work we're doing and the push that we're making on understanding communities is there's no reason for rural community in Mozambique to be poor due to natural resources that they have. And the best way to do it was really we need to enforce that these systems, that these institutions are there to consolidate. So that's where the journey of ReGeCom started to say we need to build governance system at community level so that communities can manage their own land and they can really decide about their own life based on the resources that they have. And actually I end up understanding that I was doing exactly what my father was doing as a doctor because he was giving hope, and that was exactly the thing I was doing, we are doing now as a ReGeCom. We are giving hope to communities saying that it's possible. If you manage, if you're organized enough, you don't need to depend on nobody. These resources can take you far away. But that's not easy. We are dealing with 22 institutions. I'm coordinating it. 22 institutions, actually, it means millions of diversity of thinking. And it's not an easy task. Sometimes I really wake up and ask myself, why did I get into this? I don't have the capacity to deal with this. But then, when I hear people at ACLN, institutions like Maliasili, understanding the other leaders, they say it's possible. And I think the possibility does not mean it to be perfect. It means that you need to have the willing to give back the opportunity that I have and give back to the communities. And I think that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. Thank you very much.